group Facebook page. But we got to go faster. We would be here all day. So we'll pause for questions, and then we'll hang around afterwards for more in-depth questions. But yeah, that's it. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Katie, we're good to go?
We're good to go. Just if you could all please just make sure your chats are public. It's really hard for us to manage those private chats. So just if you have a question, just put it on the public for the whole room to see, please.
So we're actually going to start a poll here. So on your screen right now is a poll. This is an awesome tool that exists within Zoom, just to give us kind of like just some background. So your school is a Google school, yes or no? You understand that at the end of the session, there will be a Google form to complete for attendance. And I think the most important thing for me to focus on when making my classroom is, if you guys could go ahead and answer those questions on the poll. No one's voting. Katie, am I missing something here? Oh, I can't hear you.
No, you're not missing anything. Just feel free to end the poll when you want, and then you share it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone having voted. I don't know if there's like a delay on my end. Maybe.
Oh, I see almost 200 people have.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
maybe I can end the poll. I can do it. Do you have an end poll button on your end?
Yeah, I do, but for me it shows 0% having voted. So that's why I was like, no one's answering. No one likes my questions. Yeah, I ended it, and it shows zeros.
Oh, wow. Well, I can tell you that about 40% of people are at a Google school, and then about 98% of people know that there's a Google form at the end, so we'll be putting that form in the chat, so don't miss that. And then I think it's important for me to focus on, it's about 50-50 on content and accessibility, and about 8% of people think that, oh, there we go, sharing it, that appearance is important.
Okay. Well, hopefully we address mostly what people are looking for then. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Guys, quick tip for all things Canvas, the Chrome browser is your place to go for your best experience. So without further ado, the first thing we're going to look at is files. So I'm going to go into the files section of my course. The file section is it's just a secondary storage location. Any pictures that you add, files that you add, they'll get put here automatically. And they get sorted for you in folders, and you have folders for each of your courses. You know, this is not your primary place to go to for where you want to save files. I've had a couple people at my school ask me, like, should we be taking stuff off of our OneDrive or out of our Google Drive and putting it on Canvas files? And the answer to that is no. This is not your primary source, but it is if you know that you've added a file, or you attached something or a picture or something to a course and you can't find it somewhere else, it's going to be here for you. As far as using your other drives, if you see over here on the left in the navigation, I can go over here to my Office 365, and I've connected this. If you haven't done this yet, you'll need to connect yours. But so I have all of my stuff there for my Office 365. If I click my Google Drive, I've connected that as well, so I can access that stuff straight from there. So it's a nice little feature to be able to access all of the things right from Canvas once you've connected them. And if you haven't done that yet, that process is pretty simple. Just you click it and it logs you right in. Any early questions, Katie, that we need to?
Nope, I'm getting them. They can all be, I got them all.
You're amazing. Okay, let's get into course settings. Course settings is, it's a good first place to go to when first getting into your Sandbox, or later on when you first get into your hub loaded courses. So first we'll talk about some simple sort of fun stuff. There's an image up here. I can choose my image really just by going, if you have a folder, a file on your computer that you want to make your course image, you can do that. Unsplash is a nice, just, I can type, kind of free photo searching thing that you can use, which is nice. So you just search in here for campfire. We selected that, and I'm echoing on somebody. And then you make that the image. The name, some of these things you guys may not have the option. You guys may not have the option to change. I do. I have different rights than you. Sorry. But if you have something here that you want to change, you can contact your ITC and they can change that for you. The big one for that is right here where it talks about sub accounts. Your sub account, you can see here, this is every school in the county. Most of them will either be manually created courses, or it might say like Prince William County Schools created course. You're going to want to contact your ITC to have your course pulled into your school's sub account. What that does is that any apps or programs that your ITC has loaded for your entire school, you'll then have access to. Also, some of the courses or some of the ITCs have kind of made their school a theme, like with color coding and your logo. So instead of, like, I work at Patriot, so instead of it being the Prince William County logo right here, it's our Patriot logo and the colors are us. And so it looks kind of more, like your brand. A couple other things within settings, we don't really need to worry about start and end too much, but you can set an end date if you had a course that you created for some reason. Maybe it's a club or something like that you didn't want people accessing after a certain date. You could change that. The language, the users have the option to set a language, so they can choose that. So you don't mess with that. The public domain, the license here, this is fine in public domain. You can make it private if it's got stuff, but because everything has to be logged in here. With public institution or course, if you were making something where you were working like across Prince William County Schools on something, you can make it institution. Visibility for course is just going to allow people that are in the course to see it. There's more important stuff down here, actually. If we go to more options, what's nice is that we can allow people, this is how a lot of you have joined our course. We had this checked right here that lets students self-enroll by sharing with them a secret URL code. So we send you guys this URL, you click that and boom, you're in the course. That's great if you're a coach or a club sponsor, you're using this and you want your students to enroll, say you're the key club sponsor, and instead of you adding each at my school, we have over 200 kids in that club. So the sponsor adding them one at a time would be a pain. Instead, you can just have them enroll with the code or with the link. This is also a nice feature right here where you can show recent announcements on the course homepage, and you can choose, how many you want. 15 seems like a lot. If you have, so we have ours set at 5. So the 5 most recent announcements will always appear on the course homepage, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then we have a couple of things. Let students edit or delete their own discussion posts. You guys are grown up, so we wanted you guys to have that ability. So, but if with your kids, you don't want them to, you can have that. And let students organize their own groups. That's another thing that you can decide whether or not you want to let kids have the ability to do. Again, you guys are grown up, so we gave you guys maybe more rights than we would give students. Okay. Up here in sections, don't really need to worry about that right now. This is used for something called cross-linking. Cross-linking would be like if I teach 3 sections of Algebra 1 and I want to be able to post to more than one of those sections at one time. There's some things with cross-linking that are still being worked out, and we don't know how it's going to talk to maybe the hub yet and gradebook and things like that. So as soon as we have more information on that, we will share far and wide, but that's where you'll go to do that. We just don't know what that looks exactly like yet. Navigation is a really important part of setting up your course. This is really just, if you look over here on the left, this is the order that things show up in. So if I decide, Clever is really important for me, I want Clever to go up top, or Clever's not that important. So you can move things around. Some people are going to make this alphabetical. You can kind of pick what's there. The other nice thing is that you can add things. So if I want to bring pages and files up here, I can. Now, our suggestion is that you don't have pages and files up here for your courses that you teach with students, because they would be able to access them not in the order that you want them to. If you're using modules, you want to keep pages and files down here so that students have to move in the order you say. I've made this mistake a bunch of times, and that is down here, always click save when you're done. I've rearranged mine 10 different times. I forget to click save, and then I'm puzzled as to why it doesn't show up. If we go over here to apps, the apps are where you're going to find all sorts of things. Flipgrid, you're going to find Nearpod, you're going to find Google, you're going to find all sorts of stuff that you can add. Some of them are going to require, for example, if I want to add Flipgrid, I've already done this, but if I wanted to add this app, it's going to ask me for a consumer key and a shared secret. These sound like super complicated things. If you, the way I found mine is I just opened a new tab and I Googled shared secret consumer key Flipgrid, and it gave me instructions on how to do it. It's not the same for every app, but that's how that's done. And then what that does is it makes it so that I can use Flipgrid from within Canvas, which is a great feature, so that I don't have to give kids an assignment and they have to close that app and then open another app and bounce all around. If you install the app to your course, then it becomes part of your course and the kids can access it through Canvas. The best app, maybe not the best app, but certainly one of the most commonly used ones, is called the redirect tool. The redirect tool is this little arrow guy right here. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to add links over here to the left side. So if you had a textbook or a web page you guys use all the time, or you don't have a paid Nearpod, so you're just using the free version of Nearpod, and so, but you still want to have access to it over here, you click add app. You name it, whatever you wanted to name it. I could name it ESPN, and then I want to make sure it goes to ESPN.com. And then I want it to show in the course navigation so that it appears over here on the left. And then I click add app. I'm not going to actually do that, but you could do that and it'll add it over here. It'll add it at the bottom. So then I would go back to the navigation and I would put it where I want. The redirect tool is really useful for adding links to all sorts of things that we have that maybe aren't apps that live within Canvas or something else. And then feature options, most of this you're not really going to mess with, so I would not worry. As you can see, most of it is grayed out. You can't edit it anyway. Katie, how we doing?
We're doing great. We're good. You can keep
Fantastic.
on going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the rich content editor. The easiest place to get to that is from within Pages. So I am going to go to View All Pages, and I'm going to add a page. So the rich content editor, when we use that term, is we're just talking about this right here. This is where I am able to add content. If you're like me, you hate how small that is. These 8 dots right here, I click and drag that, and now I have more room to work with. The rich content editor lets me pick font size. It lets, these are things that we've been using for a long time. With, School Fusion, School Messenger, as far as creating content on our page, we have the ability to change some things. We don't want to change font size by just, I want this to be a title, so I make this like 79 font. For accessibility reasons, to help students that are using aids that help them read and see what's on the page and navigate from one spot to the other, we really want to use these headings. So if I want this to be something larger and grander, I can change the heading. Mine is not changing the way I would like it to right now. But when we do stuff like that, it allows people who are using a reader to see things. We can also obviously change this to bold and italics and underline. We have all those options. You can undo all those just by clicking. And then colors, I would be very careful changing colors. There are things that we do sometimes because we're trying to be creative and make things look a certain way, but it actually makes it harder for students to see. So if you're using colors, you want to make sure like that's terrible to look at. So if you're using colors, you want to make sure that you're changing things to contrasting colors. And then if you decide you hate all that and you want to strip all the formatting, you can just click that. There we go. That's what I wanted earlier. You see that heading 2 is bigger and heading 3 is a little smaller. I don't know why that didn't do that earlier, but here we are now. And then back to paragraph. So if I wanted something to be a heading, so I can just type, yikes. I can just type that here, and then I make that, heading 3, and then this is paragraph. And so then any student using a screen reader, it's going to delineate between this is the title of this section, and then these are things that we've used a long time as different parts of the actual thing. Also, some of this stuff, we've used all these before, centering and justifying and bullets and all this kind of stuff. Some fun things in here. You can create links, external links or course links. So if I want to take you to a specific spot from within the course, I can go over here and say, I want there to be a link in here to, this page right here, and boom, it just drops it in. I don't have to do a whole lot. That's a really nice feature if I know that I've made something previously that I want to link to on a page that I'm working on. So I just go to the chain link, I go to course links, and I find what I'm looking for. If I want to add a picture to the page, I can upload an image. So if you've created buttons or things like that within Canva or some other account that you have for creating cute kind of button type things, you can upload an image. You can find an image that you've already used in the course, or you can go to user images. When you go to upload image, it can be something you have, it can be something that you found on the web, or Unsplash is a great tool. If I just want to search for some, I just want a cool looking, yeah, sure, use that, throw that in. That is gigantic. So I can just click here and change the size of things. I can go to image options and I can look alt text. What's nice about that is it's already there for me because it was in Unsplash. So it's a MacBook Pro on a white surface. So that's cool that that's there. I can embed the image. I can have display text link. It opens in a new window. I don't really want that. And then I can change the sizing, all that right there within image options. If I go to link options, I can set that to take them to someplace. So if I want that to go to,
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
They're wondering, I'm sorry. They're wondering if you could show them how, when you can go back later to show them how to add an app that needs a code.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hang a U-turn here in just one sec.
Sorry.
No, you're good. And then, so other things we can add here, this is media. I can upload or record media right from this page. So if I knew that I wanted to say, there's me, I can say, I can do just the mic. I can just do, I can take the webcam off and I can start recording right here. I can just, hey, everybody, we're recording that. We finish that and then we save it. And now that recording is on the page. I can grab it and move it. But that's how you can put stuff. Come on now. And I'm having some slow options too. Anywho, we can grab things and record them and put them right on the page. You also, let's see here. You can upload a document. You can from some file on your computer from something that already exists in the course, which is nice. This is I showed you guys earlier how to like strip all the formatting off of things. You can insert a table. We advise that's. Sorry, I couldn't take that anymore. We really advise not inserting tables unless they are data. Tables are very not accessible. If a lot of people in the past have used tables to kind of organize pictures, especially on your page, and it's not okay. We're not allowed to do that. It violates a lot of accessibility rules and laws. So please use tables for data. If you are a math teacher and need to be able to put in math typey stuff, there's a math toolbar right here. It's got all the different math things you might need. And you type right here and it puts it in as formatted the way it's supposed to. And then the last thing in the rich content editor up here is that you can insert straight from an app. So if I wanted to insert something from like say YouTube, I can go in here and I can insert straight from YouTube onto the page. So if I know there's something there that I want to put, my internet is slower than slow today, so that's not loading. So I'm going to leave that, but that's a way that you can insert straight from the little plug guy right here. Down here at the bottom, this little figure right here is an accessibility checker. What's nice about that is that if you've put stuff on your page and you're not sure if it meets accessibility requirements, it'll check the page for you, which is a great tool. There are so many different accessibility rules that it's hard for anybody to keep up with them. So it's nice that anytime you put something in, you can just click the little person in the circle right here and it'll check for you. This down here is for embedding things. This is probably like if you are an advanced Canvas user and you want to look at how to embed things into your page, you can click that. And then this guy, all you're going to do is save and publish when you're done with the page. And that's it. I'm just going to save because we're not going to publish or anything right there. So back to Katie, back to the settings for how to add an app with a code. Like so if I wanted to add an app, the consumer key and shared secret, is that what we're talking about, Katie?
Yeah. They wanted to know, like, if they were to add Nearpod or Flipgrid, where would they put that code or?
Sure.
Yeah.
So let me do this real quick. Let's open a new tab. If I go to, nope, that's more than I needed. So if I go to my Flipgrid, this is one where I actually know where it is. If I click my name and I go to integrations, you can see I've done this 3 times. You would just click add integration. You would name it Canvas. And I go to create, and it gives me a consumer key and a shared secret. And I just copy those and paste them over into this. And that's how it links my Flipgrid to my Canvas. What else, Katie, should we?
Some people are asking about what embedding means. Maybe you could describe that.
Sure. So if you've ever been to a web page that is not, for example, Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, but within that web page, you see a Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, it's been embedded. So you can embed all sorts of things. You can embed presentations, you can embed pictures, you can embed entire web pages into a web page. It makes it so that the user doesn't have to navigate to something. So say I'm teaching, earth science, and I have a really cool YouTube series that I have found of a guy who's going on all these rock related adventures. I could embed that YouTube playlist into a Canvas page. So, and the reason I would do that is so that my students don't have to then navigate to somewhere else to get to that information or get to those videos. It's just right there on the page. It's a way to make it look nice, but it also helps with not having users leave one app or web page to go to another.
And the other question is, could you show how to check accessibility again?
Sure. So let's go back to pages. So right here is a web page that's already in here. Let's go to edit. And at the bottom of, if we open this all the way up, you can see more of it. So this is the whole page that's here, and I'm sure this is accessible because Canvas made this. But this the person inside the circle is your accessibility checker. You just click that. Let's see if I can edit this and make it have an issue. So you can see what that would look like. We'll make that yellow and make this orange because that looks terrible. And then accessibility checker, and it says like, hey, that doesn't look right. It's going to be really difficult to see. The contrast ratio is no good. You need to fix it, which it's, again, it looks for everything. So super nice that even with just text, it'll find it. So I can close that. I can go back here. I can strip that stuff. And then I click the accessibility checker and hey, it likes me again. It's good to go. Good.
Yep, and I think we'll wait until the Q&A and then we can show some more examples of embedding because a lot of people want to see some of that and we can save that for after the hour because we have a big agenda.
Katie is like the embedding queen. So like it's a massive topic and she has created an amazing page. I'm sure somebody could put it in the chat. It's embedded.
Oh, it's going to be in the classroom.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the number of things that you can embed and the why and how of that is really fun and cool. But if we started down that path here, we would be here till someone would have to come over and feed my kids. That would be a problem. All right. So let's get into announcements. So adding announcements, it's really straightforward. I go over here to my announcements tab on the side. I click plus announcement. I'm going to give it a title. What's nice is that I have the rich content editor here, just like on Pages. So I have all the same tools. So anything I want to provide to that, hey guys. I can add that. I can choose which sections to post it to. Right now, I just have it on all sections. That would be if you had cross-listed it. I can attach things if I want. I can allow users to comment. So if I want to put an announcement up of like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And then I can have users comment on it. That's a nice feature. And I can also have liking and whatnot if you want to do that. But then you just click save and that's it. That's up there now. If I go back to announcements, you can see it goes right to the top as one of the most recent ones. And that's how we create announcements. Really straightforward, really simple. For that, we want to look at the home page. So you can see right now, our home page is here. To adjust what the home page is, over here on the right side of the page, it says choose home page. So you have some choices. And this is this might be up to your CLT or department or grade level as to how you guys want this to look. I don't think there's a right answer. I have a preference, but that's just me. It could be the course activity stream. That's just literally, it's like think of a stream on Facebook or Twitter of like what's been happening in the class. It's just going to be that. You can make it a front page, so we can change it. So if I've made a page that I would like that to be the front page. You can make it, and you can be any page. As you can see, there's a million pages here, but you could make it that page. And then that page is the front page. Sorry, back to home here so I can get back. It can be the modules. So if you know that you're going to use modules and you want your kids going to, every time they log into your course, you want modules to be the first thing they see, you can make that the home page. It could be an assignments list, or it could be a syllabus. A syllabus is really just over here on the left. It's one of your choices, and it's really just a page that you would make as your syllabus. I don't know that there's a better or a preferred way. Again, this is more for everybody's preference. But for us, the choose homepage right now, it's our default front page. It's so it looks like this. And then if you remember in settings, we chose it to show our 5 most recent announcements up top. If you want to see syllabus, just to see what that looks like here, the syllabus, all of this is editable by you. And again, rich content editor comes up and you can put stuff in there. The course summary, that updates on its own. So anytime you do anything, it's going to add it to the course summary for you. But then the syllabus would just be other information on the page. That's it. Questions right now, Katie? Things I need to go back to?
No, I think we're good. Got it covered in the chat.
Whew. Okay. Let's take a look at modules. Modules, I think.
Oh, they want to. Oh, yeah. We got something. So, sure. Designating a page as a front page from the pages page.
Yeah.
They want to see that because you have to designate as front page before you can set to front page.
Sure.
Yeah.
So if I go here and say I wanted to, I'm looking for, Katie, do you remember the name of that other one that we had?
A draft homepage.
Thank you. Okay, so here's draft homepage. If I go here and I want to remove that as the front page, I can do that from here. If say, and I got to click happy. If I go here and say I wanted to make the welcome page an option as the front page, I can select that page from here and I just click use as front page. And now if I go to the home page, you can see it's got the announcements, but then it's got this new page here that was that page I just selected. So if I want to go back and change it, I can go back to my pages, view all pages. I go back to draft front page, and I want to make that the front page again. So that's the way I can toggle. And then when I click home, now it's back to welcome to Camp Canvas. So that's a way to toggle what your home. You can change that anytime if you wanted to have a different homepage for different, so many teachers are so more creative than I was as a teacher. Like some people will change this like monthly or by season or whatever you wanted. You could have different homepages all the time. Good. Off to modules we go.
Yep.
Okay. There are a lot of questions, I think, from a lot of people on what modules are and how they differentiate from pages and things like that. I've heard a couple different analogies that I like. Modules can be thought of as like your 3-ring binder with dividers. It's a way of sort of like organizing all the different materials of the course. I've also thought of it as like the chapter outline in a textbook where it's got, information, and then this is the exercises, and this is the activity, and then this is the quiz. And so it's a way of just organizing all of the things, all of the different units. We're obviously using it here for days, but if you think about this from a teacher perspective and like in your classes, these could all be like units. So it could be chapter 1 and chapter 2 and chapter 3. And so then you get to kind of pick how people move through that. You can see right here, one of my favorite parts about modules is that you can have prerequisites on them. So a prerequisite just means in order to get to this module, to day 1, you had to do the Welcome to Camp Canvas module. So it lets us create a scenario where students have to get through one thing in order to get through the other. Now, I don't think that every module needs to have a prerequisite. I've worked with a couple teachers who we've talked about like, well, I want my vocab module open at all times, and I want to be able to reference it no matter what unit I'm in and just add to it. So that one, there's no prereq on. You can have that open. But if I want them to do unit two before they do unit 3, then we can create prerequisites that makes it so that they have to move from one to the other. So you'll notice this one doesn't have a prerequisite. So if I wanted to go on here and go to edit, I just click add prerequisite, and I want them to do day 1 before they do day 2. And I just click update module. It'll relock it. That's the thing. We've changed the progression and there might be students in it. So I'm not going to do that right now, but you could do that. And if I decide later that I'm going to remove it, I can just go back here, or sorry, close it right there. And now there's no prerequisite on it. So you can toggle that back and forth. The other part of the modules that I really like is within the module is that you can require students to complete certain things. I want them to complete all of these things, and I want them to go in the order I want them to go in. And then what's also nice is I can add things. So we've added, here, I'll get rid of all these so you guys can see this from scratch. So if I want to add a requirement, and I want the students to complete all of these requirements, and I want them to move in the sequential order. So optional homework, I want them to contribute to that page. And then I add a requirement, and this time I'm going to pick that, and I want them to just mark it as done. And then here I'm going to pick help and resources, and I just want them to mark that as done. And I can keep adding things as long as they're within this module, and until, you know, I've got the module set up. I want them to mark it as done. I click update module, and now, yep. And now students have to do those things before they can get to the next thing. It's a really nice way of letting us kind of set this up for students that they can move through, that they need to move through at the speed they want. If we had a quiz in there, you can even set it up so that they have to, score a certain number on the quiz. So if we look here, here's an optional accessibility quiz. Let's go in here. So on the quiz, oh no, that's something else. So, but if it was a quiz from within Canvas and say there's like 10 questions on it, I can have them, I can set it up so that the student has to score 8 out of 10 in order to go on to the next thing. Nice for us so that we can make it so that students aren't just flying through these things and not paying attention, just, you know, checking them off a list. They have to actually move through them at the speed and then sometimes at the achievement level that we are dictating. Katie, what questions do we have here?
We're pretty good. Would it matter if the quiz was the old quiz or a new quiz?
Yeah, so you want to make sure that you're using new quizzes. Old quizzes is going away. So if you're creating quizzes in Canvas, you want to create new quizzes. New quizzes has some more options also. So that's definitely new quizzes is the place to live there. What else, Katie?
That's it. I think we got it all covered.
So there were a lot of questions this morning about the modules that are coming from central office. And so I'll kind of speak on that for a second. The modules that are coming to grade levels and content areas from central office, from my understanding, are being used as sort of a skeleton or template or resource for teachers to use, so that this doesn't have to be a, hey, here's this, you have to use this in this order. It'll be a module that you can pull from, that you can add to, that you can enhance, that you can make your own. Or some of the activities might be so great that you might be like, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to change a thing. I can just import that into my course module. So there's that. Good to go on?
Yeah, yep. We're
awesome.
Good.
Awesome. We're going to talk about conferences for a second. Conferences, it's limited. I'll say this about conferences. I don't think, and I'm in a conversation right now with multiple teachers about it because I know some teachers over summer school and virtual school or virtual high school are using it. It doesn't do as much as Zoom does. Zoom and Microsoft Teams, although I think more Zoom is going to be the county push for what you should be using to video conference with your students. There are some nice things about conferences, but right now it's limited, and our suggestion is that you still use Teams or Zoom. What else?
They want to know about, okay, how could they copy a module to another class and then bring it into that class. So I told them that they would put it in the Commons and then import it. So they wanted to know how to do, if they could see that.
Sure. So you can do it a couple different ways. If you're on the same course, I can go here, like say I'm in another course now. And say, let me go to a different one here. I'll mess with my children. So I can import existing content right here. And so I want to copy a Canvas course. I'm going to start typing the name of that course. Let's see if Camp Canvas comes up. There we go. So I want to import, I don't want to import every piece of content from Camp Canvas to my class. I just want some of it. So I'm going to go there. And I'm not going to worry about event and due dates. I'm going to hit import, and then I'm going to select that content. So then let's say I want to go in, now I'm in the Camp Canvas content because I'm a teacher on both of them. So I really want all of the SPED and ELL stuff, and I want outside application integrations, and from the quizzes. So I can just go through and pick like the different things I want. I want some stuff from rubrics. I want these two. I'm not going to get in files. And so I select content, and then it's going to import it for me. So it's queued right now. It's working on it. But as soon as it's done, you see it's running right there. So as soon as that finishes, I've now taken content from one course I teach over to another. Now, if I'm trying to share it and I'm not a teacher on both courses, that's when we would go to the Commons and you would add the module to the Commons, and then you would let the teacher that you're sharing that with know the name of it, and then they would be able to pull it down. Is that?
Oh, yeah. Samantha has a great question, and it would be, how would you recommend grade level teams to share modules? If I was in a grade level team, I would create a sandbox for all of us to be working in together. And then we could, if we're all teachers in that course, we could all copy that stuff to our own classrooms.
Yeah, there's some really
recommend you're a level sandbox collaborative.
Yeah, there are some really fast way to share things. Like if somebody really wanted this front page and I knew who it was, I could go to send to just from the three dots on the top right. And I could just start typing in Katie's name. There's a lot of fields. Let's go. So I just want to send her this page. I can just click send, and boom, I've shared with her that one quick thing. So if you've made a really cool page that you want to share with a bunch of people in your CLT, that's a really fast way to do it, just from the three dots right up here. But if we're talking about like a lot of material, I agree 100% with Katie. I would ask my ITC to create a sandbox for me, call it my CLT's name, add all of us as teachers, and then you can do what I did earlier, where you create it in that sandbox, and then you go to the course that you want to copy it to. So I'll show that one more time. So if I want to go to find something here, let's do this one. So I go to the course, say this is the course I want to copy it to, and I go to import existing content, and then I would be able to navigate to that course by the name of it. So I go here, I want to select the specific content and pick import, and then I'm going to select which things I want by choosing from in here. I want all 5 of those, but I only want the formative stuff here. I select that content, and then it's going to import it. What else we got?
No, I think we got everything else.
Get out. They're lying. Oh, no, they can hear me.
No, Robin wants to know if you can send a whole module to a colleague, and the answer is no.
Yeah, unfortunately, no.
Parts.
Yeah, if you want to send an entire module, the only really way to do that is to put it in the Commons and then have them pull it down. Or like we said, if you're both a teacher on the same course, then she could just, or he could just copy it from one to the other. I will say one thing that I forgot to mention about modules that I think I've taken for granted that I really like, and that is that there are some things that we kind of like and don't realize. If you're creating modules, these user headings right here are nice ways of just kind of separating by title what is what on the page. And then you'll notice like these little icons and stuff like that. You know, just little emojis to kind of, if you want to pick, like, I'm going to use this emoji every time I use, you know, every time I'm going to give an assessment, and this emoji every time I have like a handout. Emojis are nice little quick things to add. If you go to emojikeyboard.io, you can insert emojis in pretty simply. It's a nice way of kind of just making your modules pretty and organized, which sounds like a little thing, but I think it's a big thing. And then the other thing about modules that's nice, they're very drag and drop friendly. So if I wanted to minimize these, it'll be easier to see. If I just wanted to change the order that they appear in, it's literally just a drag and drop, which is nice. Within a module, that works also. If I wanted to put this here and this here, I can just do that. Not hard. It's just everything's just drag and drop as far as reorganizing. And then I've had a lot of teachers ask me too, make sure that, if you unpublish it, the moment you unpublish it, goodness gracious, you can unpublish it while you're working in it. The moment you publish it, the users in the course, the students in the course will be able to see everything. What else?
That's it. Terry makes a really great point that using those emojis will really help support L students.
Yeah. It's not just a pretty thing. I think it does give students, like they can, they'll start to associate, oh, that icon means it's an assessment. That icon means it's a flip grid. That icon means it's just a notes. That icon means it's, something they want me to see my parents to see. I think it gives people kind of like a decoder ring kind of way of working through the modules. What else?
That's it in the chat. I think you're good to.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, I will keep it up in case more questions start rolling in of things that people want to see. Do we want to start doing more Q&A stuff specific, like small questions that people had, and we can roll right into that? Katie will put the attendance form in the chat for everybody to make sure that you guys get marked attended for this. She'll probably put it in there.
So please make sure to fill this out. All right.
I'm on share my screen, but I had a notification that somebody had raised their hand, but I can't get back to that without unsharing my screen, I don't think.
Let's see. Mary has raised her hand. Mary, do you want to turn your mic on and shout out?
Yes.
So, on our pages on our school sites, how you can come up and you can have that introduction, should we use a page for that? Like on your home, should you use what is it called? Like I stuck a page on it. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure this out. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think like within School Messenger, how it used to have like a page for you with like your about you kind of stuff.
Yes.
I think certainly at the beginning of the year, making a page that is like a welcome to my class. This is who I am. These are my office hours. This is my, whatever. I think creating a page that has all of that and then making that the homepage for your course is certainly good at the beginning of the year. I don't know that you would leave it there all year. You might want it to be something else, which is nice that we can change our page. But yeah, I certainly think that stuff is usable there. Or you could create that stuff and just put it in the syllabus, and then you would go into navigation and change your syllabus. Instead of it being not visible to students, you would put it up here where it's visible. I think some of that,
thanks.
Yeah, some of that's going to be, there's so many questions that are really good questions that might be more school specific. Like, we don't want to speak for anybody's administrator, but so if a school decides, hey, we want everybody's homepage to be the syllabus, well, then that, then that kind of trumps what we're saying. But if people are going to kind of given some autonomy to make those decisions, then yeah, I think creating a page and having that all that kind of stuff on there is a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. People are raising their hand. This is so fun.
Yeah, Crystal.
Hi. I didn't get.
Can you speak up? It's a little hard to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's a little better. Yeah,
Okay.
That's better.
I didn't get a chance to ask this yesterday. I don't know if it's a stupid question or not. I noticed that, so Canvas, I've been using it for a little bit for summer school. Well, we're done. But it has quizzes in there, but can you put summative assessments or no?
I think Oh man, I think a lot of things on this topic. I think it would be really hard it's going to be really hard to do summative assessments in the same way that we have thought about summative assessments for probably decades, because
Okay.
it's just so hard. I mean, I don't, you guys can see me right now. I can't see you because I'm still presenting, but like if I were to sit here like this, I can look like I'm listening to the teacher and I'm doing what I'm supposed to, even if the teacher's watching me via Zoom and my phone is in my right hand. So I can be looking up anything that you're asking me. I think we have to assume a little bit that all assessments are going to be open note, open Siri, open Google, open friend, open family, open parent. And so we're going to have to kind of rethink how we do summative assessments. They're going to have to be more, creation based, or something a student produces or demonstrates or things like that.
So more project based.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not in charge of anybody. I'm barely in charge of myself. But yeah, I think that when we start creating things that, if a student has to build a website or make a video and then present it to maybe not the whole class, maybe just the teacher, but at least then like I have some knowledge that that student did that on their own. I think, there are all sorts of websites and apps and programs you can use that can make assessments, but I think that's a big challenge for teachers. And there are some where, you can have a quiz on something like Go Formative where you unlock it for a certain amount of time. So you make a summative assessment that should take the student 30 minutes. If they look up every answer, it'll take them an hour. So you only give them 40 minutes. And then if they're looking up
Okay.
every answer, they won't finish. I think there are ways around it, but I think even in that environment, you have to assume that while they're taking it, they have their phone out. They're going to be using something else.
They would never cheat now.
I know, right?
It's
Gee.
it's not cheating. They're just using all their resources.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
teachers do. But thanks for answering the question.
That's right.
I just like to emphasize the attendance form is in the chat, so you need to fill it out because it will close soon. So make sure you do that promptly. Don't wait till the evening. Do it now. How do you raise your hand? In the bottom of the Zoom, you'll see a thing that says reactions, and one of those is a hand raise. So Danielle, you're up next.
Hi there. Hello. Good morning. I wanted to see if there's a way for us, or if you could show us how you said for the quizzes, you can require the student to get a certain percentage before moving on. Is that possible for you to show, or is that too much?
I think she's asking the module, right?
Yeah. I'm going to go to a quiz that I created. It'd be easier for me. Okay.
Remember, after you fill out the attendance form, you're free to go. If you want to stay for the Q&A, you're more than welcome to, of course.
So this is an intro to Canvas course that we did at Patriot. And so this was a quiz. So if I go in here to edit, and I had the requirements, the last thing was a quiz that I had created called Intro to Canvas. And then because it's a quiz, you see right here, it's my only options. This is not a quiz. This is just view, mark as done, or contribute. But this one was a quiz. So the options here change. And so, score at least, and then I get to pick. Even if you don't want to give a score, at least you can just make it that they have to take it. So they have to submit the quiz. So I like that. You could give an option where like, I want them to get a 9 out of 10 to move on, or it's just, I want them to take this and then they can move on and I can see where they stand. When they do the score, at least, I like it because they can retake it as many times as they want until they get it right. And then if you go, I would show you this, but I'd be showing it. All the teachers at my school, the attempts that they took. So you can just trust me when I say that you can go in and look and see how many times they took it, how many minutes they took to take it. Like if they're just blowing through it to try and figure out what the wrong answers are, there's all sorts of data you can look at on the quizzes. So you can see, number of attempts, when they had their most recent attempt, how they're doing each time. Really good for formative assessment to be able to see that kind of stuff.
All right. Next, people really want to see how to embed something.
Katie, I'm going to let you share.
Oh, I don't.
No?
Okay.
I can't. No, I can do it.
Yeah. You do it. You're good.
The best way to see all of the amazing stuff that we've done for embedding, and when I say we, I mean mostly Katie, if you go to embedded.itsforall.com, she's created an open public course in Canvas that will show you all of the different things that you can embed. So for example, if we look into, if I want to embed a web page into my Canvas, here's that right there. I click embed web page, and it talks about you can embed a whole web page by using this code and replacing the highlighted part. So you follow the steps on here, and it lets you put a web page into your page. So here's her school messenger page that she's embedded into her Canvas. What's nice about it is that all the things that are clickable on her web page are clickable on here. I mean, it's just a great tool. If I go back, that's not where I wanted. If I want to embed, for example, I want to embed a Google form.
And we're going to add all of this information into the Canvas class on Thursday when Biz and I spend most of the day talking about embeds.
Yeah. But this is a good place to start if you're not in that class Thursday, or if you just want to play around. But like, say I want to embed a Google form, that's here. When I send the form, that little icon right there is how you get your embed code. You would get that, copy it, you paste it right into the page, and you can embed from there. And she's got how to embed Desmos, how to embed a Sway, SoundCloud. There's just, you can see, we could scroll for a long time. There's lots of stuff there.
All right. So next up is Anne, and then we'll have Jeffrey, who can't raise his hand but wants to. So Anne? All right, Anne doesn't sound like she's there, so let's move on to Jeffrey.
I couldn't find the hand.
I'm here. I'm here.
Well, who do you want, Katie? You want to?
We're going to start with Jeffrey now that you talked, and we'll go to Anne after.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't find the hand raise, but a clap to all this. Real quick. So we have a team of teachers working on curriculum for our classes. There's 3 of us. We're all creating modules in a Sandbox. And how do we import, I guess the word shouldn't be copy, but I guess how do we import into the template that we have from the county? How does the designated course designer take our Sandbox and import that into that template?
So you want to copy modules from a Sandbox that you have to a module that you've been given?
Yes.
Or to a course that you've been given?
The criminal justice teachers we all have a template for CTE.
Sure.
So we've been given, it's just so much information that there's been one course designer for criminal justice 1, one course designer for criminal justice 2, but we've all, we split the group, and 3 of us are working on criminal justice 2. We're all creating in the Sandbox different modules,
right.
3 modules each.
Right.
So we want to give the designer, how do they go into that import or copy into that template?
So there's a couple ways you can do it. If you just want the designer to be able to see it, you could go to people and add them as a teacher to it.
We've done that.
What you can also do, so what you would do is you would go, if you want to copy it, I would go to the course that you want to copy it to. So say I want to copy, I've created something somewhere else, and I want to put it here in my Sandbox. Okay. So I would go to my Sandbox. This is totally empty. It's the one the county gave me. And I would go to import existing content. Then I'm going to go up here to where it says copy a Canvas course, and I'm going to start typing in the name of the course that I'm copying from. Does that make sense?
Right.
So
even if it's a Sandbox course?
Yeah, sure. It could be any kind of, as long as it's a course. I don't want all the content. I just want specific content.
Okay.
And I choose import. Right. And then right here, I get this blue button of which content do you want? So then I can go in here and say, I only want Learn Photoshop, Learn Adobe Spark, and What's for Dinner. Those are the 3 modules that I want. I click select content, and it copies it. You have to be a teacher on both of the courses, though, to do that.
Yeah. We've been invited into the template. So
okay.
Any of us could do that. So that, I know you showed that. I just thought I was making sure I was on the right track of importing individual modules created into that template.
Yep. That's all you would do. Okay. And then it's when I go to my course, as soon as this is done, those modules that I just copied, they're just there. And then I can drag and drop and rearrange. And I can even, if there's things in those modules I don't like, I can just delete the stuff I don't want.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Anne?
Yes, I had to step away for a few minutes. Did you post the attendance sheet yet?
Oh, yes. It's been posted many times. It's in the chat. Just posted it again.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
What else?
Daniel, I have a question.
Sure.
For the sandbox that we were given by the county, we can go ahead and play around with all this information that you've gone over today, right? Correct?
Yeah. What's important to know about the different courses that we all have, you can't break Canvas. So the nice thing about the sandbox is that we were given, mine's not published, so I got to scroll down here. Let's see. So this is the one that I was given by the county. You can do whatever you want. Nobody can see it. This is the stuff that I just imported with Jeffrey. You can do whatever you want here. I have no students in here. So if I go to people, this is where, like, I'm the only person in here. So I can make quizzes. I can make whatever I want. I can make all sorts of stuff. And just to play with it. If nobody ever sees it, it doesn't matter. It's just where I'm playing. If I make something I like, then I can copy it from this course to the course I wanted in.
Okay.
Yep.
I get a little scared about that sometimes. Thanks.
I listen, that's the teacher and all of us. They were like, all right, they've given me something and I don't want to mess it up. Now there's no messing it up. You can play around as much as you like.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next up, we have Zamara. Zamara, are you there? All right, Diana.
Sorry, I had to take my mute off. I'm just wondering if I want to post some things from my website for just parents, then I might just want to post observers, right? But if there's parts that are more geared toward the kids, then I could just embed parts of the website for the kids. I don't know, can you embed parts or it's the whole website? Is it a one for all?
It's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I would say, go ahead, Katie.
No, go ahead.
I would say if there are things that you want to share just with parents, that still using the hub communication tool is the best way to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my suggestion. If you want to share stuff with everybody, putting it in Canvas and letting everybody see it is no big deal. But I would say that if there's information that the kids don't need that the parents do, I think using the communication tool in the hub is how I'm going to steer my staff. Yeah, Katie, what were you going to add, Katie?
I was just going to say, what grade level do you teach?
I'm actually a school counselor, so I'm like pre-K to 5. So
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how all this fits in for me.
Yeah, if it's non-confidential, just general parent information, I would make a parent page or module in your course. That way parents know that information is for them.
Yeah, I think Canvas has a lot of potential for school counselors at all age groups, of having a module for parents, having a module for students, having a module for resources where you guys can add stuff. And then, there are a lot of times I think counselors struggle because they can't get, communication to people. Once you add those students to your course, you've got them, they're in. That's, again, one of the nice things about everybody being in Canvas. And your ability to add them or, that you can get information to everybody.
Can you add a Padlet, like a community resources Padlet? Because I created one during the summer where parents could go for food pantry information or whatever. I don't know if we're allowed to use Padlets anymore.
Yep. You can put a Padlet right into your Canvas.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, next up is Marianne.
Hi there. I am looking at can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I am looking at your dashboard and your different courses.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me how you set the picture on that course?
Sure. So let's take my boring plain NEM Kids one right here. So one, you can change the color if you want to do anything like that. You can move it around. You have some options. If I want to move, if I wanted to rearrange the order or even unfavorite, it would make it so it wouldn't even show up in my dashboard anymore. To change the picture, I'm actually going to go into the course and I go into the settings and then I just choose an image. I do a search. I have 4 kids, so that works. And then I just go to update course details. And now when I go back to my dashboard, there it is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, Danielle?
My question for Zoom, since it's something that is available on our Canvas page, are we scheduling through our page, or do we have to, or can we like log in separately, you know, to go into the actual site and do that through our PWCS email?
All right, I'm actually going to pull Billy Watson for this one because he's been working with summer school and he might know the best. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, no, I think this is a great Billy question.
All right, go. Can we summarize the question for me? I was responding to a message and I heard something about summer school and scheduling.
So I was looking to see for Zoom, if you're wanting to schedule private sessions or even within the class itself, if I wanted to have a course where, you know, the kids can log in and we can actually go through something together. Do I schedule my Zoom meetings or my classes through the actual Canvas course, or am I doing that? Because I know I can just log into the site and I can put my PWCS email in and I can schedule a meeting there.
Yeah, speaking from summer school, and I had multiple kids actually on earlier today. I had to pop off and answer their questions. Yes, you want to go inside of the course. Dan, can you click on Watson Them Kids?
Billy wishes he could control my computer.
I can, but I'm not going to request it. So in the Zoom session, so like we have Zoom set up in the left corner. So right in here, I've already scheduled some meetings just for giggles. Like if we had a family podcast, we're dreaming. So I can schedule that meeting. Dan, can you click schedule meeting?
Schedule a new meeting?
Yes, please.
It doesn't say schedule a meeting. It says schedule a new meeting.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, please be specific.
Okay, so this is where I would recommend scheduling the meeting, because I can't read his things, because this way students don't have to go somewhere else to access it. As well, we're working on getting the integration with the cloud recording set up so that parents would then be able to also go in and access those meetings. The really nice thing about this is what Dan's doing right here is you can add alternative hosts, which I think is really helpful for co-teachers. If you have a SPED or an EL that's joining you, they can also manage that chat and manage the breakout rooms. So my recommendation is let's schedule all of our official, like whenever we get the official schedule, let's schedule our official class meetings in here. But then I also recommend, Dan, if you click on Zoom Office, the office hours link on the left side, you can also schedule that one-on-one stuff, and that's gonna pop in. Don't hit the button, but that's when you could actually schedule your personal meeting room, and then that would be a generic link that anybody could access that you could do one-on-one time. So, for example, I had a student today come in; they needed help setting up their account, so I answered them. They were still working. Another student popped in, so I put one kid in breakout room while I worked with the other kid. Then, when that kid was done, I brought them back.
So when they come into the office hour section, this office hour that on the navigation, and they click in, it just automatically, you let them in, and then you figure out what to do. Okay, got it.
Yeah, Dan, can you go back to the Zoom link over there? So to do that, what I did was I went where it says personal meeting room, and I actually got that little URL right there. And then Dan showed this earlier with the redirect tool. I did the redirect tool, but instead of calling it redirect tool, I called it office hours, and I pasted that link so that for kids and for parents, if they know office hours, they don't have to go find their email or look at an announcement. They know just to click on the word office hours on the left side, and now they can see that's where I go if I have to ask Mr. Watts a question.
And Billy, adding Zoom over here to the left, this was an external tool?
Zoom is integrated into every single one of our courses. You have to enable it though by going to settings and then finding it as a disabled app and then enabling it. So Dan, do you have a course that you haven't done that yet with?
I do.
Thanks, buddy. So it's not there, but if he goes to settings and then he clicks on navigation, he's going to see it down there at the very bottom, and he can move it up, and now it's enabled for the staff that are at his course. So now, and so staff and students and everybody can see it.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, Mary has another question. Her hand's up again.
Okay, it's about Zoom quickly. So when I click on Zoom, it says user does not exist.
So we need to configure your account so that your PWCS account is configured.
Because I have a Zoom account,
Yep.
but do I need a new account since?
No, we just have to migrate over.
Okay.
So actually, if you opened up a tab and went to zoom.pwcs.edu, it'll actually ask you to sign in and configure and walk you through that process of getting a confirmation email and acknowledging the switch.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
Great job, Billy.
Thanks, buddy.
So proud. Who's up?
Robin is up. Robin Hilliard.
Yes, thanks. We had to do the unmute part. So when it says personal meeting room, would that be personal meeting rooms as that would create your breakout rooms? We're looking at doing book clubs and we were wondering how, I know how to create them in Teams, but, and we know how to create them in Canvas, but it would be really great. My husband and I were part of a Smithsonian scavenger hunt, and we were put into breakout rooms. And so, and then the host would come in and visit us if we were, to see how we were doing with our tasks. And all I could think of was, oh my God, of course the educator in me went, oh, we could do this book clubs. And so is that the link that we would, or is that the tool we would use?
Is what the tool?
The personal meeting rooms, would you set up more than one simultaneous? No, you're shaking.
No, I would use breakout rooms within Zoom.
Where? I didn't see it on the board.
So which board?
I didn't see it on the screen for some reason.
No, so you're going to see that in your Zoom settings and then when you're actually in the Zoom meeting as a host. So when you're actually in the Zoom meeting as a host, you'll see breakout rooms along the bottom on your menu. So,
okay. Yep. Well, we can set them up before in the meeting.
You totally can.
And then I see your head
yep.
doing Ascension. Okay.
So when we have a Zoom Wakelet that is in the classroom.
Oh, good.
So you'll find the information there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Jennifer is just likely hidden. So it's probably, you're not seeing Zoom because it's down in the navigation. So you're gonna have to go to that course settings and then bring it out of the navigation. All right, Scotty Madison's next.
Thank you. I just have a general question. Me personally, I'm a self-contained teacher, so I service students in various grade levels, oftentimes at once. So I require differentiated instruction. Is there a way within modules where I can either create files or folders for individual students to access different material?
Yeah, so I would say you could create student groups and then within that student group, you can place the materials. And Billy and Emily are going to be showing you all about creating student groups on Friday.
I love groups.
Yeah.
It's best.
So you would be able to create a group basically and just put one student in it for those self-contained students. So a student group doesn't have to have 5 kids. It can just have 1. And then you can put the things that pertain to that particular student in that group.
Okay.
Yep, so he'll show you on Friday. All right, does that answer it? All right, Robin Etheridge is next.
Hi. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. I am kind of lost a little bit. I've been teaching summer school, and I haven't been using Zoom for summer school because when they first allowed us to, or put it in our course, we couldn't record our sessions, and I want to make it so that my kids can record. So I've been using the conference tool, which you're right, it's it's not great, but it's getting the job done right now. I was following along with everything you were saying about, or the discussion about moving or doing the office hours, but I don't know. I somehow missed something about the redirect tool. I heard somebody say something like that, and then I kind of got lost.
So if I go up here, Robin, to Zoom, and I go to personal meeting room, this is the join URL.
Yep.
So all I do is I would copy that, and then when I go into settings,
Okay.
and I'm going to look for redirect. And I go
Oh.
to add app. Instead of it calling redirect rule, I'm going to call it office hours. And then I'm going to put the URL there, and I'm going to check that. And then it's going to populate that. I'm not going to actually do this because I'm not going to do that. But yeah, it'll actually populate. I love that I'm pointing at my screen like you can see it. It'll actually populate in the navigation on the left side when you do that.
All right, cool beans.
And then,
Thank
so
you.
then you could tell 1 student or 3 students or 10 students, hey guys, I'll be in my office hours today from 1 to 2. Click the link on the left and I'm there. And then if you need to do like what Billy was saying, I think that's a great idea that you can populate breakout rooms and separate kids as needed.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I wish that the Zoom had been working exactly the way that it was supposed to the entire summer, because I have office hours several times a day. But this would have made it so much easier. Thank you so much.
Most of that is Billy's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay, Billy. We still love you.
It. Thank you. Dan loves me too.
Bye. Thanks.
Ironically, the biggest stick in the mud right now for conferences via Zoom is my own brother, my own flesh and blood. It's like the Civil War.
It's getting awkward.
It's just me and 87 people, 86 people in my own little therapy session. You guys want to talk about Canvas, but I'd like to talk about my feelings.
All right, the next person is Katie. Katie Vandenberg.
That's right, Vandenberg. This is maybe a little off topic, but I was wondering if you have recommendations for microphones and headphones if I want a better sound and audio experience.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I love that Katie thinks this is off topic when I was just talking about like having my own personal counseling session with 80 some people. Yeah, some of that, Katie, is going to depend on how much money you're willing to spend or the budget for your department or things like that. I know that like the stuff that I have, this microphone is a Rode pod mic, so I sound like super cool. My suggestion would be to send Billy Watts a message in Teams, and he will ad nauseum give you advice on what to buy.
You should also add what your budget is.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you share, Billy, your contact info? I don't get my access to anything till August 12th. So.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, 100%. I will put my email, my Google email in the chat. Feel free to email me.
Awesome. Thank you.
This.
Billy's so happy. He gets to
I'm so excited.
Hey, Danny and Billy, Dan and Billy, they want to know about your ISTE podcasting session. Is that on YouTube somewhere? Some people want to watch it.
Oh my God.
I did not make that up. This is a real question.
Yeah. What? Oh, gross.
It's probably out there.
It exists somewhere. I got something about it recently. I'll have to find it.
There's a Zoom session, I think we can. Yeah, I'll download it and put it on our YouTube page.
No, that's not.
Oh no, I can't download it. That's sad. My feelings.
Okay.
I'll fix this.
Jeez. I thought, Billy, were we given a link for that?
We were given a link to the Zoom recording.
Yeah. Do you have that? Can you find that link at this moment?
Yeah, I have it, but I really want to be able to put it in the chat. I want to own it. I don't like. Sorry, this isn't a feelings talk. Katie, we'll move us on.
Yes.
All right, Robin Etheridge, we got you right. I don't think your hand's up anymore. Anyone else have any questions? I hope everyone got the attendance.
Hello.
All right,
Hello.
Robin. Oh, who's speaking?
Cassandra.
All right, Cassandra, go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of my concerns is when we were in virtual, I'm an LD, elementary, and it was quite overwhelming trying to get to 10 different classes and trying to do all of that. So looking at Canvas, I had put a question in the chat actually about the integration of what it's going to look like for like SPED teachers, like especially when I'm doing support and pullouts for math and language arts. And so when it comes to, because when I did my page with virtual in the spring, I had a separate page where I had all of these resources. I wasn't necessarily integrated with the team of all the grade level teachers that I work with. So I'm trying to wrap my head around what this gonna look like. Now, you guys did say something that with integrating and being able to copy and do those kind of things. So I'm hoping, I know there's a lot going on with possibly SPED and ESOL, having some person to person. So I'm just trying to figure out, is there, do you guys know like how some of this is going to work out when it comes to things like this with the integration of SPED teachers working and sharing the communications?
So I'll address part of it, and then Katie, please chime in. Any teacher can add you to a course so that then you're on the course. So that's first. What I would say is if you have a collection of resources, of best practices, of ideas, of websites, of all that, you could create a module that has all of that stuff in there and then share it with the grade levels that you work with. And then they could have that module as just part of their course so that anybody in the class has access to that material. As far as what, I'll speak for me personally, knowing what anything is going to look like in the fall, I know as little as everyone else. I don't have any insight as to what it's going to be. As a former special ed teacher, what I would be trying to do right now is I would be trying to create modules of, okay, for my students that have, processing or reading issues, I'm going to create some things like this. For my students that have, emotional disabilities, I'm going to create some stuff like this, and just to have kind of resources. And then it's really going to matter who you're working with and whether or not, that relationship and how you guys work together, as far as, are you going to be in the class with them? Are you going to use Zoom to pull kids out? That kind of thing. Anybody else want to chime?
No, I completely agree with that. I completely agree that yeah, if you want to create some materials that other people can use, that you can share, and then they can add you to their classes, and like you said, we're not exactly sure how we'll look for every role in the school. I think a lot of that is, we get the chance to create that. So
yeah, well, that was pretty cool. I mean, the one thing I was thinking about was, like you said, best practices and things of that nature. Generally, I do things like that. Like you said, that's one of the things I was thinking that was going to be very helpful. And then the other thing where you said that the teachers can add me to their courses so that they can share. I guess the only other thing was, in sharing, of course, with children with disabilities, is you got to know that you can't single them out. So like, you can't, like, I'm a special educator, you can't like plot my name and just make any of those connections at all for legal reasons. So Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else? Did everyone get the attendance? I don't want to, don't want to hear any sad stories later. My ML is already blowing up with them.
I had a question, actually, since there's crickets. Hi, I'm Jessica. When you were at the very, very beginning of this session, you were getting images from Unsplashed, I think it was called. Are those images
fair use?
Yes, that's what I was
Yep.
looking for. Thank you.
Yep, that's my favorite reason right now within Canvas to using Unsplash is that I don't have to worry about, am I stealing someone else's photo from Google, downloading it, renaming it, cropping it a little bit so it's different, and then uploading it and pretending it's mine. Nope, all the stuff from Unsplash you are able to use. They are fair use. You don't have to worry about any of that.
Awesome.
I can't believe people want to watch me and Billy talk about podcasting. But whoever that was, thanks. Anybody else? Are you a Google school, Crystal? That would probably be the first question I would ask to that question. If you're not a Google school, I would not use a Google form because you'd be using a personal Google account for school stuff. You could use Microsoft Forms. I don't know if we are going to be given guidance as far as how we take attendance. I would assume at some point they're going to tell us whether or not we even have to. That's one of the reasons I like for at least the modules of putting stuff so that students have to mark it as done or submit it. So that can kind of be their attendance for that day of that module. I assume at some point we're going to get guidance on what attendance looks like during virtual learning.
Okay, because we have the ability to be a Google school. I mean, I own the domain, but we are not. No, because I mean, I had to buy it because we bought Photoshop, we bought the Creative Cloud, but we never set it up. I've had it for over a year. So
yeah, I would assume at some point somebody's going to tell us what they want us to do for how attendance works in virtual learning.
okay, awesome. Because I know that's a big question from all the parents. Like they're all at us about whether or not their kids have to be on the live session. So, but yeah, none of us know either. So, all right, well, thanks. Hey, Billy, I sent you an email.
Any other questions? All right, I'm going to wrap up the recording.